Hi, I'm Oliver, Principal of the International Macrobiotics School, and I want to give you some instruction around how to do a deep abdominal massage. This kind of goes with another video which I'll be doing, which is on abdominal breathing. Very good to do this abdominal massage, really free up tension, get energy flowing, get things moving in the abdomen, and then do abdominal breathing. And very often people find that they can then breathe much more deeply. So I want to talk a little bit about this abdominal massage. What we're actually going to do, because I'd really like you to do this with me, is we're going to massage our internal organs. What I find, I've taught this in many classes, it really feels that getting in touch with our internal organs and what's happening in this part of the body is a really important part of being aware of our health and looking after our health. And I find that many people are very aware of what's happening in their external muscles, shoulders, legs, arms, neck, and so on, but are very unaware of what's happening in the abdominal organs. Yet, what's happening in this part of the body and with internally has an enormous effect on our health. Our internal organs are mostly muscular: stomach, small intestine, large intestine. There's also the liver that's not muscular, but these organs can accumulate a lot of tension. So these internal muscles in our stomach, etc., can accumulate tension just like our external muscles can. In fact, a lot of tension in our neck, shoulders, back starts with the internal organs and then it transfers. So this is just a really good practice. When the energy is not flowing and therefore blood not flowing and the intestines are not able to move properly, this can lead to a lot of different health problems. When there's a lot of tension in the stomach, it can lead to acid reflux, very common problem. It can lead to digestive problems, irregular bowel movements. When there's a lot of tension in the small intestine, large intestine, maybe people are going to suffer from irritable bowel, often affected a lot by emotions as well as foods. Poor digestion, diarrhea, constipation, reproductive system problems, prostate, uterus, ovaries need a good key flow. Things need to be moving, blood needs to be moving through this area, and if it's stagnating, then we can get period pains, in large prostate, peeing problems, etc., etc. Also, as well as a lot of physical problems, which can happen when this area gets stuck, or the abdominal massage can help relieve. Also emotionally, actually one reason why we often hold a lot of tension in our abdominal organs is from holding emotions. What we all do at times is we're not able to express, or we've learned to suppress our emotions and not express them fully. Emotions come from the body. They come from our internal organs. And if we keep swallowing down, suppressing our emotions, if we keep swallowing down emotions, where does that emotion go? To our stomach. And then our stomach gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Also in Oriental medicine, the liver is especially to do with expressing our energy, including our emotional energy and our creative energy. If that is suppressed, blocked, for some reason, then we're going to develop a lot of tension in our liver and gallbladder area, which then transfers up into the neck and shoulders. I guarantee you, if you find in yourself or someone else that the neck is really tight here, you'll also find that this place just below the ribs is really tight as well. This is where it starts. Headaches, migraines start here, 95%. A lot of tension here, which then eventually bursts out and comes up to the head. So what organs are we talking about here? I've got a diagram here which you should get a better picture of. Here are the lower ribs. You might like to find your lower ribs along here. Let's find the boundary of the abdomen. Here we have the lower ribs, and then here we have the hip bone. So find your hip bone. It sticks out here. Just inside is the abdomen. Then down the bottom there's your pubic bone. Just above that you're in the abdomen. On this side, hip bone, inside is the abdomen. Lower ribs on this side, just underneath, and you're in the abdomen. So this is the abdomen that we're looking at. So top right, underneath the right ribs, is the liver. Very large organ, actually comes across the middle as well. We can, even though it's not muscular, we can develop a lot of tension in it. Some people it feels very flexible, some people it feels very hard. That's not just a physical thing, it's also an energetic thing. More on the left side, the stomach starts off underneath the left ribs, comes down across the center. If you find the bottom of your sternum and your navel and then go halfway in between, that is the bottom part of your stomach coming into the duodenum, which is the beginning of the small intestine. And then all around your navel, find your navel, 3 centimeters above each side, below, this is all your small intestine. All these organs should feel soft, flexible, but not too soft. You know, so have a bit of bounce in, have a bit of tone in, just like our external muscles. We don't want them overly tense, we don't want them overly flaccid, we want to have a good tone in them, but they're also soft and flexible. Same in the abdomen. Then inside the left hip bone, let's start inside the right hip bone. This is where the small intestine turns into the large intestine. So when you're inside your right hip bone, you're on your large intestine, the ascending colon coming up to the ribs. Generally goes a little bit under the ribs, across the front, quite difficult to detect it over the front. Underneath your left ribs, comes down, and then just to the inside of your left hip bone. So if you're just inside your left hip bone, you are on your large intestine. If you have some stools in there, you may feel some urge to go and have a poo. Then those are the main organs that you're going to feel. Other ones are more underneath, just above the pubic bone. If you press a little bit downwards, you're definitely going to get in contact with the bladder. Very good to do when your bladder's full, because then that'll give you a definite sensation of your bladder. You could also feel your stomach after you've had a meal. You know, you don't want to press hard, but it's going to help you locate your stomach. Really good to learn where your internal organs are. Then if you're getting some pains or problems, you can help work out yourself where the problem is, and maybe the abdominal massage that I'm going to show you is going to help. So just very briefly, why do we build up tension here? A whole number of reasons. If we're under a lot of stress, we tend to tense up, we brace ourselves. If in macrobiotic terms we eat a lot more yang foods, these are contractive foods, heavy, dense foods, more meat, bacon, eggs, cheese, dry bread, dry crackers, salty foods, etc. These create more tension in the body. If we eat small amounts, they can maybe produce some useful energy circulating in the body, but if we overeat them, they create a lot of tension in the body. Emotional suppression, lack of movement, our bodies like to move, and then our chi flows, our blood flows, our lymph flows, etc. So let's get on to doing the abdominal massage. Very good to be doing this. You know, you could spend 10 minutes, maybe even 15 minutes, do it once a day, and you'll get to know your internal organs. And as you loosen up areas of tension and maybe strengthen areas which feel rather empty or loose, rather cotton woolly with no tone, then you may well start feeling really significantly different. Especially if you follow up with the abdominal the abdominal breathing, which is on another video. So I'm just realizing I'm sitting in Seiza, which I've got used to over the last 40 years. You may not be able to do this. You can also do this sitting on a chair, or you could do it sitting here with a cushion underneath your thighs on top of your ankles. You need to be comfortable and be able to sit for 10 minutes. So again, what we're going to do is make two circles. First of all, starting at the top. So here's the sternum, come down your sternum, bony breastplate, and then you come off, you're into the abdomen. We could call this the 12 o'clock position. Then under the left ribs, find your lower ribs, fall off them. That's in a clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in your side. This is actually on the large intestine. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock inside your hip on the large intestine. 6 o'clock, immediately underneath is your small intestine, but if you want to, you can press downwards and you'll feel your bladder. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock on the large intestine again. Also 9 o'clock on the large intestine. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock on the liver and gallbladder. Back to 12 at the top, where you're partly on the liver. 1 o'clock is the stomach. And then, so there's that big circle, and then find your navel. Then we're going to do a small circle around the navel so that we work the small intestine. 3 centimeters above the navel, 3 centimeters to the left, 3 centimeters below, and 3 centimeters to the right. So this is a good overall abdominal massage. Of course, if you feel that there's a problem or you're in an area, you can spend longer on a certain area. So the technique, we want to be pressing straight in. And an easy way of doing this is I've got my hands like this, and I'm pushing my fingers straight in, and I'm going to take a breath in. You can just watch this and take a breath in. And then as I breathe out, I'm leaning forwards, putting the backs of my hands on my thighs. And then it's very easy. My hands are just there, and as I lean forwards, I'm pressing deeply into my abdomen. And I'm already feeling, oh, this is going to feel so good, and I'm going to feel so good afterwards. So again, just demoing, or you can do this with me, taking a breath in, and then breathing out, fingers in the 12 o'clock position, hands on the backs of the thighs, pressing in until you feel some resistance. You don't want to be hurting yourself. When you get to some resistance, it may feel a little uncomfortable. So just hold that pressure. Take some small breaths. You don't have to hold your breath, especially breathing out helps your body to relax. Take your time. Feel what's under your fingers. And you're almost certainly going to feel that tension relaxing a little bit, softening a little bit. That's a good feeling. Some of that stuckness, some of that held key is now moving around the body. Okay, then let's breathe in. Come to the 1 o'clock position, same thing, breathe out. Press in deeply until you're feeling some resistance. And you may well find that some parts of your abdomen, some organs are much more tense, others not. So my stomach's feeling quite tense this morning. If you want to make a noise, make a noise. Making a noise can help us to let go of the stuckness, the tension. And then breathing in. Coming on to 2 o'clock. Breathing out. Oh, feels so good to get in there and contact my internal organs. Say hello. Gently but firmly challenge that stuckness to move. Breathing in. And position 3, pressing in on the large intestine now. Maybe this feels good, maybe it feels very sensitive. If it feels very sensitive, then something going on with your large intestine. And breathing in. So I'm just going to go a little bit quicker than I normally would. So I'm going to skip 4, go on to 5. Large intestine again. Got to press in deeply. A lot of people have a lot of tension and stuckness in their large intestine. Enjoy the feeling of that tension relaxing. You might feel some energy going down your legs or coming up into your face or head. You may start feeling warmer. Breathing in. Just above the pubic bone, and I'm going to point down a little bit, so I'm reaching into the bladder. Hello, bladder. Good to give my bladder some attention. Can be a good technique when one has cystitis. Probably have to go very gently, but with cystitis generally the key is pretty blocked in this place, and doing some work here can be really helpful. Breathing in. Position 7. Back on the large intestine. Feels so good to be giving my internal organs some attention. They don't get very much attention. This is then I'm going to skip 8 just to speed things up a little bit. Come on to 9, still on the large intestine. A lot of people do a lot of work on their external muscles with yoga and stretching and so on. But don't do this deep abdominal work, and this really complements all that external work very, very well. Breathing in. 10, so underneath the ribs, on the liver. How's my liver this morning? A little bit tense. But it's shifting quite easily, which feels good. And then to 11, also on the liver, and underneath is the gallbladder. If the key is very stuck here, then we may be more likely to develop gallstones. Good to keep energy, fluids, etc. moving through this area. Oh, that's feeling so good to me. Quite a bit of tension there. You may need to take a few deeper breaths to let some tension out. You might want to make a noise. Help the tension come out. And then back to position 12, 12 o'clock. Feeling a bit looser, having already worked it. Going to take it a little bit further. Okay, so that's the big circle. A little bit of smoothing out, a little bit of having poked ourselves, a little bit of comforting, and then we're going to come above the navel, 3 centimeters, same thing, deep breath in, and breathe out, press in. Oh, definitely some tension here for me. Feels good to be releasing it. Breathing a deep breath in, 3 centimeters to the left of the navel. Press in, breathe out. Yeah, there's tension here for me as well. If you do this every day, you'll find that the tension in different organs really goes up and down. You know, our health is always changing, and that's healthy. Breathing in, 3 centimeters below the navel. Small intestine again. 3 centimeters to the right of the navel. Again, small intestine. And breathing in and smoothing out. If you want to, you can repeat that whole series, or you can do the whole thing but just take it slower. If there's a particular place that it feels particularly good, or there's a lot of tension that you feel is releasing, you can spend a lot longer there. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is to, to sit for a minute, feel, how does your body feel? How does your abdomen feel? How does your whole body feel? You might feel calmer, you might feel more relaxed, you might feel more warmth, you might feel this is a bit emptier, a bit clearer. You may start hiccuping or burping a little bit, as I'm doing, as tension is releasing from the stomach. Just check out how you feel. So I really recommend everybody to do this. Internal organs really need that attention, especially if you've got digestive problems, regurgitation problems, reproductive system problems, bladder problems. You know, really good to do this on a daily basis. The one time, a few things you have to be careful with. If you have a hiatus hernia, where your stomach is tending to come upwards out of your abdomen, then don't give strong pressure on your upper abdomen. And if anything is really painful, then stop. You don't need to cause a lot of pain for this to have a good effect. You want to take it to the extent where it's maybe feeling a little uncomfortable, you're challenging some tension or stuck energy to move. But if there's strong pain, stop. Strong pain is a sign that you may be doing yourself harm. So please practice this. I hope you really enjoy it. And yeah, if you do it every day, try it for a week. I think you'll find it makes quite a big difference to how you feel. Thank you.